you, Seth. Okay. So welcome to the September 22nd meeting of the Scituate Conservation Commission. Couple of quick things to read here. Um, this meeting is being held virtual as an alternate means of public access pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, temporarily amending certain provisions of the open meeting law. You are hereby advised that this meeting and all communications during the meeting may be recorded by the town of Scituate in accordance with the open meeting law. And the town of Scituate Conservation Commission is committed to providing an environment of respect during meetings. We ask all members to interact in a polite manner, even when there's disagreement. We value the participation of our community and want all participants, including marginalized and minoritized communities, to feel welcome and respected. We ask our community members and all who participate to commit to these standards and to support and respect our community. We have an agenda for the evening and want to vote that agenda if there's any additions or omissions.
I'd like to make one.
What would that be?
I'd just like a quick word about something up at Mordecai Lincoln at the end of
Okay,
the meeting, please.
from Penny, and then maybe if there's a minute, we might just talk a little bit about upcoming town meeting and
Oh, yeah.
open space. But again, we'll see how we're doing for time.
Okay.
Okay,
Mine's real quick, Frank.
do you want
Okay,
to
I
make
make
a
a motion
motion?
we
Yep,
accept the agenda with the two add-ons.
Second from Jen.
great. All in favor? Um, Brendan,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Roger,
Yes.
and Robbie.
He's here. He needs to be made a co-host so he can unmute.
Hi, good evening.
Great. Good evening.
I'm sorry, what are we voting on?
Just the agenda, Robbie.
Okay, yeah, I've read the agenda, I agree.
Thank you. Okay. Um, so that said, the first hearing of the evening, I have to recluse myself. So I think Ms. Foley is going to handle that one. And maybe she has an assistant.
I think she does.
I do. This one is definitely not of voting age. Um, all right. I'm gonna read. So on September 22nd, 2025 at 6 p.m., the Scituate Conservation Commission will hold a wetlands hearing under Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Massachusetts General Laws and Section 30700 of the Town of Scituate Code of Bylaws for a notice of intent filed by Jeffrey and Cynthia Schechter for the construction of an addition and plunge pool within buffer to wetland resources located at 143 Jericho Road, Scituate. Abutters and other interested parties are invited to attend. Information to access the meeting will be available on the agenda posted on the town website.
All right. Can everyone hear me?
Yep.
Okay, great. So this is Attorney Jeff DeLisi. I'm here on behalf of the applicants Jeffrey and Cindy Schechter. Josh, if you see Dylan Brady in the queue from Grady Consulting, he is also representing us, as well as, if necessary, our architect, Jessica Sulprizio, is available to answer any questions that you might have. You see up on the plan in front of you, the plot plan, okay? Josh, it might be helpful just before we talk about this, just to go to the three photos, especially photo one. And you might need to rotate that. Great. This here is a photo of the property, looking at it from the perspective of Meadow Road. And you can see The house, the primary dwelling to the right, the small little elevated structure with the blue door is an accessory building. And then off to the left, you see a building with two balconies. That is actually a single family dwelling which has an address of 10 Meadow Road. I'm sorry, this is actually the perspective of Otis Road, not Meadow. I think I previously indicated Meadow. So, Josh, if you just switch over to photo number two, um, you'll you can see that a little more close up. And then photo number three has a perspective of the house with the balconies um, from the perspective of Meadow Road. So if you can just go to the plot plan, briefly, I'll explain the project. Uh, you see that there's a dash line kind of where the red line zigs in. That was formerly the property line. And the two properties, which is 143 Jericho and 10 Meadow, have been merged to create a single lot. This project is really just to allow um, the construction in the area of orange and yellow, that being the accessory building will be joined to the house, and then there will be, and that's the orange area, and then there would be yellow decking, which is an elevated deck with an elevated kind of plunge pool, a very small plunge pool on top of the deck. That is the project from the standpoint physically of the addition onto the house at 143 Jericho. But what's particularly exciting about this proposal for this commission really has to do with 10 Meadow Road. And what is being proposed at 10 Meadow Road is that that house be removed from the property entirely, um, which is the house is in not the best state right now, and it's very close to a wetland. There are some access issues out in that particular area, and the proposal would be to just simply remove it from the property and to return the property to a natural state, which Josh can speak about in more detail. But we've created a planting plan kind of along the boundary of the wetland area, which would be an additional kind of enhancement, buffer zone enhancement area there. And the area of 10 of the dwelling, as I previously indicated, would be returned to just kind of a natural state. And so, um, with that, I'm more than happy to answer any questions that the commission has or to ask Josh to chime in. We did receive zoning approval for the physical addition to join the two structures. And that zoning approval also included the removal of the building because it is technically located in a floodplain. So it was a special permit. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Pretty straightforward.
Okay.
Penny, I
Thanks,
see.
Jeff.
You're welcome, Penny. I see some fingers waving in the background.
Yes, because I have some questions.
We'll get there. Jen, do you
Yes.
want to start us off?
Sure. I did want to say that I think more is coming out than that is going in, if the math is correct on that. And the proposed addition is up on, up on piles. It's not in a foundation.
Correct.
And the mitigation that's going in is up against some current mitigation, so that's a nice place to have that. I think the question to kind of hear from one of my questions, I would like to hear what the commission has to say is as far as access to the demo. I presume the plan is to do it from the side of 143 Jericho, since you have the driveway there, and I think it's just like you have in your description just a vined area and a chain link fence, so you can put any of the dumpsters or the larger equipment could access from 143 Jericho to do the demo at 10 Meadow, if that was part of
I
the
think
plan.
it's Otis is where the driveway is, Jen.
Oh, you're right. You're right. But the house address is 143 Jericho. The
I
driveway is
understand.
off
Yep.
Otis. Yes,
Yep.
yeah, correct.
Jen, just to jump in on that, it looks like we're hiring Paul Armstrong, who came out and evaluated the demo. He's
Hmm.
indicated that he does not need to utilize Meadow Road to do that, and he does not foresee any particular problem. Um, Most of it will be kind of, removing it by hand. So
Okay. All right. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Are you good, Jen?
Yes.
Okay. Penny,
Yes,
with your
my
waving hand.
question. I think this is pretty straightforward. I love it. You're removing the existing falling down building. I don't have an issue with what you're proposing to do with that deck and all. My only question is, I see where your planting plan is, but when you state natural, where the existing dwelling is now, what do you mean by natural? Do you mean grass or do you mean sand and natural? What Mother
So,
Nature would put down.
I think I'm going to allow Dylan. Is Dylan on? Dylan can answer that better than me.
Yeah, I am. Can everyone hear me all right?
Yes.
Can you speak up a little, Dylan?
Yeah, absolutely. How was this?
I'm having a hard time.
All right, try one more time. How's this? But
Just,
quiet?
just, just kind of speak as loud as you can, Dylan. I hear you, but it all depends on everyone's machines.
All right, yeah. For the record, Dylan Brady with Grading Consulting. Return to natural. We plan just to match what exists around the house now, which is sandy gravel mixture. Um,
Yes?
we weren't planning on doing anything more than that. Um,
Okay, and then Mother Nature can take over if she wants to drop some things there.
that was the plan, yes.
That's a wonderful plan. Thank you. Okay, I'm all set, Jen. Thank you.
Okay. How about Roger?
What? Yes, that's me. I have no questions, but I appreciate the second call out there.
I have a special assistant for a little bit.
Oh, sorry. I said no questions for me. Thanks, Jen.
Oh, okay. Got it. Do we have Brendan tonight?
Yes.
Yes.
Um, so the house is being removed. Are we removing all the fencing and additional shed? And does that mean
Oh,
it says X shed, I guess?
existing shed.
Is that being removed as well? Or
No, excuse me, at the top, kind of above on my screen, the dwelling at 10 Meadow, that shed will be removed. Yes.
okay. All right.
Yeah.
Good.
No, I think this is fine.
I like it.
Looks good. I have no other questions.
Yeah, it's the reverse of what we all typically do, right?
Yeah.
But there's a significant wetland on the opposite side of Meadow Road, and so this is something that would be a positive project for that as well.
Right.
Totally.
Okay.
I got a couple more. Eric.
So just to follow up, Jeff, on Brendan's question about the shed and fence, did you happen to say what was happening with that fence line?
Dylan, do you happen to know what's happening with the fence? I didn't hear the question about the fence. I thought it was just the shed. I apologize.
No worries.
But the owner is open to if the commission has a preference on the fence, I'm certain that the owner is perfectly happy to be amenable to whatever that would be. I don't, my recollection is that there was no thought, no discussion about it at the moment, but I think it
No,
probably makes sense to take it down, but I'm not certain.
yeah, just more of a curiosity to try and button up that question more than anything else. I was wondering because on the other side of the paper street there, there is that wetland that you referenced. Would there be any consideration to a narrow strip along that fence line if it is to be, remaining of sort of buffer plantings there as well?
Yes, we'd be happy to do that. I think that the fence serves a purpose, at least as it kind of folds around to the side yard, um, because there's another property there. And
Yeah.
I think that we'll be keeping the fence there at least. And so, assuming we keep the fence all the way to the point of the existing shed, we'd be happy to add mitigation plantings on the Meadow Road side, but on our property.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um, and I might add Meadow Road shows as a paper street on this plan. It actually, there's something there. It's not as if it's not constructed in total vegetation.
Mhm.
Uh, but it might show up as paper street because I think a portion of it is paper. Uh,
Right.
but in any event, the answer is we're going to keep the fence, but we're happy to do some plantings on the north side of the fence on our property. Um, that'd be perfectly acceptable as a condition.
I appreciate the
And we'd be happy to work with Jen to determine what those plantings are.
sure. I think my only caveat to that is just if there is existing vegetation that is there, I think just noting what that is. If it's invasive, then obviously let's take care of that. If it's not, then and it's native wetland species, then maybe just supplementing if that's appropriate for that location.
Right now I'm just kind of going to an aerial on this because I want to make certain it's really tight when you drive up that portion of Meadow Road. It's a very small dirt road.
Yeah.
I think, and I just wanted to make certain that there's some space. I believe that there is some space on the north side now. I'm looking at it. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if like I said, if it's invasive, let's take care of it. If it's native, if there's an opportunity to supplement, let's do that. But obviously, let's not remove anything that is native wetland species, uh, on the site if possible.
Looks like it's
Dylan, can you amend the plan to kind of depict that for the commission or for Jen if it's closed tonight?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, great.
Thanks, guys. One other question, just to confirm. So the deck and addition will have piles. And I understand that comment from Grady indicated that the surface beneath those proposed additions will remain, whether that is asphalt or otherwise. I just was wondering, in areas that there is asphalt and piles will be driven, will that asphalt remain?
So I'm gonna defer to Dylan on this.
Yeah, you
I don't think the plan is to break up any asphalt that's presently existing, if that's your question, Eric.
Yeah, I
Um,
was just curious because if piles are going to be driven, if that asphalt in the area that the piles were going to be driven was to be removed and replaced with something else, or if it was going to be repaved, or just because in the comment it did say that asphalt would remain, but I just didn't know how that process worked when installing pilings and how that would impact the existing subsurface.
test.
Dylan, do you have any comment on that?
Yeah, sorry about that. Can everyone hear me now?
Yep.
Yep.
Sorry about that. I think I lost my audio for a second there. Originally I was when we put that report in, basically we're just saying that which will show that we're not proposing any new asphalt. In terms of pile driving, the asphalt might have to be removed. That would be more of a question for Paul Armstrong. But whatever is underneath now will remain the same afterwards.
Unless it's necessitated to be removed because of the pile. And we don't necessarily, right now, Eric, have a plan because we're not certain how much or what's going to come up.
Understood. That's all I have. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Robbie, I think you're.
Hi, good evening. Looks like a positive project. I like it. A couple of questions. I noticed there's a detail for wood chip wattle on the top right there. Is there a plan to put that around the building for demolition, or just kind of curious because it looks like the existing structure is maybe a little bit elevated and the topography runs a little bit away from that building. So I'm curious where that might be in, or if there's a plan to install that in specific locations and kind of associated with that. Is it planned to be a quick demolition and removal of the material from the site? Because I wouldn't want it to be out there in a demolished condition for an extended period of time.
Yeah, so to answer your first question, the proposed silt sock erosion control barrier is shown as that dash red line.
Okay.
We'd be happy to bring it all the way across. I did try to locate it, just I stopped it where it seemed to be most up gradient. But we'd be happy to extend it all the way around the building if deemed necessary. And as far as construction sequencing, I'm sure the contractor as well as the client would be happy to agree to, when demoing, to be efficient about removing debris offsite.
Great. Thank you for the follow-up.
Thank you.
All right. I think we got through everyone. Let's see. Do we
Roger?
have?
Is he here?
Yeah, I think I did him already.
I
Roger,
am
got-
here. I was the first one. Remember the assistant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm a little brain dead, Roger. Excuse
It's all
me.
right.
Eloise says there's no Roger here. I'm like, well, kind of.
That's right.
Do we have anybody in the audience? Now would be a time to use the raise your hand feature. Okay, we've got one.
I am unmuting Joanne. You should be unmuted now.
There. It's two of us. I mean, I'm here in my capacity on the Scituate Salt Marsh Stewardship Initiative.
And Joanne, do you mind
I'll
saying
give
your
you my
name?
address. I'll give you the
Okay.
address,
Okay, thank
154
you.
Turner Road. And my colleague Della Shepherd is here. She's at 70 Scituate Ave.
Thank you.
So we have been studying this, and we're, very, very, the Schechters have an incredibly positive thing to do here, which is what we would like all people who rim the marsh do. But we have a lot of questions, especially the first question is about the wetlands delineations seem quite off to us. I mean, we consult the Jericho Road Flood Hazard Mitigation Project map from 2005, which shows most of the delineations go east-west, not north-south. So all the delineations of wetlands go north-south on this, they seem to, which is very odd to us. And if it can be explained, that would be great.
Well, sorry, I'll let you go, Jeff.
Go ahead,
No, go
Dylan.
ahead.
Yeah, so we got our wetlands eliminated by John Zimmer of South River Environmental. So he went out and looked at the site and hung the flags, and then we located them with our instruments, and that's where we got our location of our wetland.
Okay, is there going to be any kind of, is the commission going to do its own? Because like I said, these are like really odd lines that they've got here.
Why?
I mean, we've studied this for almost 3 years now, so we're quite confused that the lines are where they are. The 100-foot buffer, the floodplain, the 50-foot buffer, they don't actually run there on the various maps we have. Have they changed?
I think this is Jen, I think what's not shown on here is the delineation of the salt marsh north of 10 Meadow. So there isn't a delineation on that side that's showing the buffer coming onto this property from that direction.
Why not?
I think they were delineating. My guess is that they were doing what was closest to 143 Jericho, and then 10 Meadow we're taking something out. So it was the 143 Jericho. I am making a presumption here was where the focus was of delineating what's on their property.
That's correct, Jen. Yeah, we knew the proposed work would go right adjacent of 143 Jericho. And we knew all the proposed work on 10 Meadow would just be removing impervious and removing a structure.
Well, the 100-foot buffer, according to our mapping, runs through the 10 Meadow Road site going east-west, across Otis Road, around the bend. It goes all around the marsh. It doesn't go where it's listed here. But if the commission is not going to get another independent look at this, I guess we are just going to have to. It's just not accurate to us.
We start with the proponents, wetland specialist that laid out the flags and see what his response is or her response is to this.
The only thing I would add to this is that it's not unusual for the commission to rely on a licensed, in this case, I guess, botanist. And John Zimmer is one of the best here on the South Shore. And again, what we're talking about is work to the house. That meaning the addition to the house at 143 and the accessory building, that work being jurisdictional only insofar as the wetland that's delineated and shown on the site, but not jurisdictional as a result of wetland across the street. The delineation's not going to change. And the only reason why we don't show on the opposite side of the street or beyond what is shown here on the plan is because it's a removal project and a restoration project. If we were doing substantial work or a new building out there, a reconstructed building, there probably would be some additional look because there would be some changes in grades and things of that nature. But that's the only reason why we didn't show it. I mean, I think if we were to have taken this project from the standpoint of not merging the property and just doing a removal of 10 Meadow, it potentially could have been accepted as an RDA project. So I'll leave it to the commission if you want a response, but I don't think it's necessary. I think it just kind of sucks time for no good reason. That's my viewpoint.
Well, it sounds like somebody's got their information incorrect or misaligned, and it'd be useful to understand where that issue is occurring.
I mean, we were just reacting to the fact that all of the wetlands lines go north-south, and the wetlands really go east-west. So, I mean, they go east-west down there, and then they go north. But hey, we just came to ask questions.
And there are implications too for the removal of the house at 10 Meadow Road, because it's conceivable that the gravel and sand you find underneath that you're going to leave is fill that was deposited on a salt marsh. So, and that will have implications for restoring this site to the natural world and protecting wetlands vegetation that exists.
Right. It would be good to have core samples or some kind of soil testing so you really know if that is soil and ground and sand that is indigenous to this site or if it's not. That would be helpful.
Oh, I think that that's way, way overkill to do that. We could leave the dilapidated and rotting building in the middle
No,
of
that's not what we're
area if
talking
you'd
about.
like.
We're not talking about that. We came to the commission 2 years ago about removing that house. So we're really delighted that the Schechters are removing it. It's the restoration part that we're wondering about. That's all.
Okay. Oh, thank you for your comments, Joanne. And I'm sorry, I can't remember your colleague who's with you
Della
as well,
Schechter,
but
yeah.
Della, thank you. Is there anybody else who has their hand raised? Okay. Yeah,
Can I make a motion?
sure.
I make a motion to close an issue.
Okay. Can I get a second?
Oh,
I'll second that.
thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Brendan. All right. Roger?
I I do have some questions about this, and I think it's a simple, the request or the comment that some folks brought up would be appropriate to just get a simple clarification. If you're, I guess I would say no on this one versus yes, because I do think if we're just trying to get, hear the voices of everybody and just get clarification, I think Robbie, you said there's two points of perspectives here, and I don't feel like I got the clarification that we've heard everybody. So I'll say no, I guess.
Fine.
Are you
Okay.
looking for more information on delineation?
Yeah, it was on the 50-foot the buffer, I believe it was, the way that it was going north-south versus east-west. I mean, I think it's just, if it comes back and we find out that the plans on this map were accurate and we've confirmed it, then I'm all good for it. But I want to make sure that we're looking at this from all angles, and if there needs to be an adjustment on the plan due to the way it was looked at, I think we just need to kind of focus on the getting to the right answer versus an answer on this one. So if there could be can we get clarification? Can it be a yes, but pending confirmation that the lines were accurately captured?
So they can only capture what's on their property. And if they've captured what's on their property, what is I'm just trying to think ahead.
Yeah, I guess the question is, how do we believe it was captured correctly? If that answer comes back yes, then I think that's the answer. I'm just hearing a couple different things. So yeah.
So are you perhaps suggesting a site visit to validate this?
I am just looking for clarification. I am not looking to over-engineer this thing. I didn't know if it was a simple going back. I think Jeff mentioned that they were looking at it from one perspective and from the upper property. Do we go back and look at it from the second, property that's going to be demolished? I don't know. I'm just trying to get to the answer. And I'm not looking to over-engineer this. If somebody could simply say, yeah, they came back, these are all correct, validation, and go from there. I mean, I'll look to my other commissioners to kind of weigh in here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Brendan, you've got your hand.
Yeah, I raised my hand. So I guess my question is, looking at these lines that we're talking about, the 50, the 100, we're talking about, we're removing, if the lines were north-south or however they're east-west, so they're going to go through this site at a different angle, perhaps. I'm not really sure how, we don't get to see how these lines sometimes, if they're extended into other properties, we don't get to see that. But I'm not sure personally how this makes a difference in the ultimate goal here. If we're removing this home, work is going to be done in the 50. Work is going to have to be done in the 100. It's just, well, which way are we slicing it? Is unless someone could tell me that I'm not seeing that right. We're trying to remove this the structure, and we're actually pretty focused on removing the structure and not what's being added. We're kind of like not looking at that so much, but maybe it just occurred to me that we're all very focused on removing the structure. Anyway, that's my the 2 cents. Like if this was going north and south or east to west, is that going to make a difference to whether or not this could be removed?
No.
So that's why my vote is yes, that this can be closed.
Okay.
Jen, we can add a condition that, there is known salt marsh north of this. So for any future work proposed, that would need to be considered.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Essentially, Jen, that's saying that we're not accepting the wetland line as shown for the extent of the property, because there's other potential resources adjacent to that this plan does not represent.
Yes.
Cool.
Okay. So do we need to make another motion or would that just be as part of the
That would just be part of the orders.
the condition? Well, we're just closing. We're not closing and issuing.
Yes,
right?
we are.
Okay.
I thought.
sorry.
Jen Smith.
You tell me if you want to close, we
I
can do
made a
that.
motion
And if
to close an issue.
Yeah, that's what I have written down.
And Brendan
Second with Brendan
seconded.
Collins.
Okay.
So let's
So
just continue
Can
the
we make
vote.
another? Do we need to make another motion to close an issue with that specific order?
No, we can.
No.
Me and
Okay.
Jen can just put that in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Penny, yes. Brendan, yes.
Yes.
Roger, no. Robbie.
I think overall the project is net benefit. So it would be nice to somehow get an answer for Miss Witkoff. She seems to have put a lot of effort into, her work in this area. But overall, I think it's a benefit, and I'm a yes on this.
Okay. Thank you, Robbie. And Eric.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. And Jen, yes. All right.
Moving on.
All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate
Thank you
it.
very much, everyone.
Thanks, Jeff. All right. What's next?
Where's Mr. Frank? Is he coming back, or are you gonna
I'm
keep
back
moving,
in.
Jen?
I kind of like Eloise's commentary. I hope she stays.
Her care has arrived.
Bummer.
But it will be looking for Roger.
Yes,
for
she
the rest of
likes
the evening.
Roger.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you all. So
Frank,
we now
you have
have
an echo.
I know, but I don't know how to fix that.
well, that sounds better.
Josh got us.
Okay.
So this is 180. This is 185 Edward Foster Road, and we've already opened this. So where are we with this one, Jen?
They have submitted a revised plan. I am looking for Richard. I'm going to unmute Richard. And let me know anybody else. think we might need to zoom in a little bit, but I'm assuming this is Rick Grady can give a brief update on the revised plan, but they're essentially took all of the work out of the 50-foot buffer.
Yes. Rick Grady here from Grady Consulting. I suspect the applicants are on here as well, and perhaps Attorney Brodsky or one of his associates also. Yeah, quite simply, as Jen had mentioned, the applicants asked us to revise the plan to remove all previously proposed work that had been proposed within 50 feet of the coastal dune. So basically, the entire lowest portion of the backyard will remain as it is today. Erosion control was moved up to the 50-foot setback. The proposed work's going to divert runoff away from the neighbor's property to the west and promote infiltration close to the proposed addition on the higher portions of the property, approximately 60 to 70 feet from the edge of the coastal dune. And we're hopeful that the commission will see this as a positive change proposed by the applicants here. And they're looking forward to getting started with some work out here.
Okay. Thank you. Jen Smith.
Yes, I don't have any questions. Great that they are working out of the 50-foot buffer for this project.
Jen, before we move to anybody else, in earlier iterations of this project, I believe we had Horsley Witten looking at this.
Yes.
And did they see the revised plan? Do you know?
I don't have any comments from them on this. Most of their comments were about the concern with all of the work going all the way down to the dune and there any kind of diversion onto the other properties and channelization. So I don't have any comments from this revised plan.
Okay. And was there stormwater in the earlier plan?
No, they were just under the threshold for disturbance. Not, it wasn't really impervious. That was
okay. All right. Well, it's not my turn to ask, but I just wanted to see if we had anybody else coming in, besides members or other comments. Okay, thank you. So let's start with, I guess Penny.
No, I'm staring at it and I don't have a problem with this plan, what they're proposing to do here. Thank you.
Okay. Jen Foley.
No, I think I'm okay for now.
Brendan.
I will keep the trend of being okay, no questions right now.
Okay. Eric.
So I'm just curious on the retaining wall that's remaining. I think I'm looking at the two plans correctly and am fair to assume that it's the same proposed spot grades that was in the previous plan, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Any of the proposed landscape improvements survive this iteration of the plan as it was proposed on the previous plan as it relates to everything houseward of that retaining wall?
Houseward of the retaining wall is correct. That remains.
Can we scroll to that plan? I think it's page 2. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep. And I have just one other comment. Never mind. I see it. I'm all set. Thanks, Frank.
Thanks, Eric. Trying to remember on this one, how long ago we started this. So I'm just my question is with Roger and Robbie. I'd like their input. I just don't know about voting,
It's
but
been a couple of years, I think.
I don't think it's been that long. But Rick, do
Ah,
you?
it's been well over a year, Frank. I know that.
I'm digging up a date right now. I want to say we first met with the commission back in April on it, and I'll have an answer for that momentarily.
I'll make it easy for you, Frank. I don't have any questions at this
Okay,
time.
thank you. Um, and Robbie,
I'm good with this, thanks.
okay. Do we have anybody in the audience on this one?
Mm-mm.
Okay, this got a lot simpler, faster.
Yes, it did.
Um, so we don't have anybody in the audience. Everybody's
Nope.
made
Yeah.
comment. Penny,
Yeah, I make a motion to close an issue, Jen.
Yes.
185 Edward Foster.
that's Penny. Do we have a second?
Second from Jen.
Jen, all in favor? Brendan,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Roger,
Yes.
Robbie,
Yes.
and Frank, yes. Great. Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.
Too. We are now at 30 Marshfield Ave. I gotta open this one. On September 22nd, 2025 at 6 p.m., the Scituate Conservation Commission will hold a wetlands hearing under Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Massachusetts General Laws and Section 30700, Town of Scituate Code of Bylaws, regarding a notice of intent application of Stephen and Elizabeth Tripp for installation of a new septic system and an accessory dwelling located at 30 Marshfield Ave, Scituate. Abutters and other interested parties are invited to attend. Information to access the virtual meeting is available, posted on the town website. And who do we have?
Hello?
Yeah.
I've unmuted Jeff DeLisi, and I'm not sure who else.
Oh, okay. So Stan Humphreys should be on the call.
I see him, but I don't have anything. Is he on the phone?
Um, I would expect him to just zoom in like the rest of the world does.
Yeah, no, I see his name, but I don't have a sound for him. I don't know if that makes sense. There's no audio.
So I'll let Stan try and troubleshoot that for a second. And is Steve Rye available? Is he on the call? And Steve Tripp?
Steve Tripp, I've unmuted him, and Steve Rye, I don't see if he can raise his hand. There's a couple.
He might not be here from land planning, and that's okay.
Okay.
Okay, so Stan, see what you can do to try and zoom in, maybe log out and log back in. Jen, if you would please keep your eyes out for him, and I'm just gonna kind of start to talk about the project, if that's okay.
Sure.
Okay, so you guys have up here a plot plan for the property, which is pretty much right at the end of Marshfield Ave. When you go out to Hammerock and you pass the Voyage, and you're about to get to the beach, and then the street ends, you can walk in the middle of the street. To the right is this property, and the property is directly on the Atlantic Ocean. So the proposal, so right now on the property, we have an existing single-family dwelling and two existing accessory buildings on the property. We also have a cesspool as opposed to a septic system that is servicing the dwelling. And the entire property, and I'd love it, Josh, if you would be able to bring up the letter that I had filed last week, which contains two photos. I'd love to show the photos. The property is entirely disturbed. There once was a hotel at the property. And there's also a seawall to the on the screen that you see here to the right of the dwelling, which is the seawall I'm sure everybody's familiar with along the beach over at Hummerocks, a concrete seawall. So essentially, the project is to remove the two accessory buildings and remove the patio and to upgrade the septic system to a Title V, update the cesspool to a compliant Title V system, which would serve the single-family dwelling and the to-be-constructed accessory building, which, under the state's recent law, we're able to construct an accessory dwelling on the property, which is limited in size in relation to the primary dwelling. So the concept would be that the proposed accessory dwelling would be a one-story building elevated onto piles. So by removing the two non-compliant buildings that are essentially pretty much at grade, and replacing it with a fully compliant building that meets the FEMA standards, is also a net benefit. In addition, Josh just had on the screen there a planting plan, and we had a look at the site and thought that there would probably be an opportunity to enhance many areas of the site with vegetation that would be useful for that resource area out there. And so this is the plan that we formulated. Whereas right now it's pretty much almost entirely a scoured property, except for a few Rosa rugosas that were planted in kind of an odd area. So that's essentially the project, is to basically take what is you can see the accessory building to the left of the patio, and then in the back corner on the lower left portion of the lot, you can see another accessory building. So the patio and those two buildings would be replaced with a fully flood compliant building. We would do the plantings and upgrade from a cesspool to a Title V system, and that would be a vast improvement for the area, and that's the project.
Okay.
So I had Stan, if he wanted, I was going to ask Stan to go through the criteria of the regulation for coastal dune, which he has provided to you in writing his analysis. But if he's not available, then that's available to you to look at.
Okay. All
All
right.
right. And he might be that phone number. I'm not sure. I'll see if I can figure that out.
So I have the last four digits of his number. Let me see. So I have 1654 as the last four digits.
Yes. All right. So I'm going to unmute the 1654 number.
Thank you.
But I do think you need to hit some buttons on the phone to unmute it.
I think I was just unmuted.
There you go.
There you go. Yep, we can hear you now.
I'm sorry about that. Thank you.
Good evening, Stan.
Hey, Frank, how are you?
Good. How are you tonight?
Good.
So
do I have the floor?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go
We
ahead.
were just go ahead and explain your point of view.
For the record, Stan Humphreys, coastal geologist with ECR. The commission should have a letter that I submitted dated September 15th. And I go through the performance standards in some detail and be glad to take you through that if you have any questions. but I'd rather more or less appeal to the common sense of the commissioners. I believe in this project there are net benefits of the proposal that outweigh the impacts of the existing conditions. The property's fairly flat, a lot of open sand, some spotty vegetation, and I'll go through a number of what I think are improvements. Probably topping the list is the fact that a Title V system now is going to replace a cesspool. The building that's proposed is both flood and dune compliant, being built on timber piles, and the overall area is less than or equal to the existing at-grade shed, shower area, and paver patio that's going to be removed. Another bonus or plus to this project is a planting plan provided by ECR, provide more stability and wildlife habitat to the primary frontal dune. That would be more or less the eastern third of the site. In this planting plan, we're proposing close to 1,350 square feet of new or enhanced vegetation, and that far outweighs the proposed 170 square feet of disturbed vegetation. When I say disturbed, the two areas of shrubs within the footprint will be transplanted to more of a seaward location on the plan. And one final note to add about the characteristics of the site is that at the footprint of the building, the elevation is essentially 13, and that equals the flood elevation. So not to argue that it's entirely out of the floodplain, but certainly the impacts of the 100-year flood will be minimal. So I think in summary, there are negligible impacts and therefore no adverse effects under the performance standards for coastal dune. That's all that I was going to present at this point.
Okay, thank you, Stan. A lot in this letter, and I appreciate your guidance or your expertise here. Okay. Jeff, do you have anybody else or anything else you want to present before we start to move forward?
No, the only thing that I kind of wanted to point out to the commission is that for many decades, this property has been owned by the Tripp family. They own other properties on Hummerock, brothers, parents, grandparents. And this allows, the purpose for this is to allow Steve and his wife to live at the property. Right now, it's a seasonal property. They have kids and grandchildren, and the concept is exactly in line with what the state law has told communities that it wants to see, which is housing created that is in the nature of affordable. And this would qualify as that. So it's, as far as its kind of impact and views and everything, it's going to be a one-story building. So it's probably a much better situation than if they had to, if they just decided to wipe the site out and rebuild a brand new, very large single-family home like you see all along the coast in Hummerock. This is a much scaled back project. And I did want to point out, and I did provide the commission with a copy of an order of the conditions issued to the Isons almost right around the corner for almost an identical size building, but 2 stories as opposed to 1, detached. in a circumstance where it wasn't replacing any buildings and didn't really have any mitigation associated with it like this does.
What was the address of that, Jeff?
So that was, if you give me a second here. Okay, so that was 38 Revere Street. Order of conditions issued in, I believe, 2001, and it's DEP number 68-2904. And I provided the order, and at the very end of the order on the document that was actually recorded at the Registry of Deeds, the actual plan is attached, and you can see that. The property is Revere Street, but the actual address is Postscript Lane.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Jen Smith.
Sure. So great to be upgrading to a septic system from a cesspool. I do have some concerns for this proposed project. I want to say this was filed November, December of 2024, and we had some comments at that meeting. This is essentially the same footprint. The mitigation is changed a bit. There was some proposed on that. This is more, but the footprint of the proposed building is the same. I'm not sure that I have permits for the sheds and the patio that are mentioned, just for what that's worth. And I mean, this is a barrier beach where we know the storms come through this site. So, upgrading the septic is good. We're putting about 1,000 square foot footprint of a building on it where parking is also supposed to be happening on this site as well. So I just want to remind that there's, a driveway here also. So I do have concerns about, flood control, storm damage prevention of pollution, and, protecting the barrier beach. It should be adding to the benefit of it. We don't want to be adversely affecting it. But I'll.
Do you mind if I jump in on that, Jen, for a second?
Yes.
Or Frank?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Yep.
So just to address the amount of time that has passed since the filing was made prior to my involvement, and some questions were raised as to whether or not this is actually a permitted project under an exemption for accessory projects that's in the CMRs. And so eventually the applicant found his way over to me, and I looked into that. I wanted to make sure that we hired Stan to look into the criteria. We wanted to make sure that, of course, you guys are going to want a planting plan. There were a lot of things that needed to happen that were not initially proposed. Yes, it's true that the footprint has not changed, but in my letter, I addressed with the commission that there are two pathways to approving this. And I'm just mentioning it here because I don't know if everyone has read this or not. I've been doing work in front of this commission now for a couple of decades, and I had to kind of like hone in on it and really review it, because the way the commission treats Hummerock presently versus how it's treated Hummerock previously is like night and day. And the two pathways are new construction, if this is considered new construction, is allowed in under the regulations on the performance standards for coastal dunes, so long as the applicant can demonstrate no adverse impact to certain stated criteria, which Stan addressed in his letter and kind of referenced in his presentation tonight. However, there is the ability to allow some adverse impact to the resource area so long as it's considered to be an accessory project. And that's where the focus of the comments were the first time around. So what I'm saying to you is that if you look at it as a new project, if we meet the standard, we're good. If you look at it as an accessory project, if the commission were to consider this an accessory project that is of a quote small nature, then it's an allowable project, and some adverse impact is allowable. We don't think that we're creating an adverse impact. The regulation indicates why, what types of structures it's trying to prevent, and those are the types of structures that alter wave activity, and prevent dune migration. So what our kind of position is here is that we're as far as kind of some of the items that Jen referenced, storm prevention, removing structures that shouldn't be there. There already is that whole area to the left of the building is already an area where cars drive in, and in the front of the building as well. It's an entirely previously disturbed site, and I provided a photo of a very large hotel on this property and adjacent properties over time. So we think that, again, like Stan was talking about, is if you look at this from a holistic perspective, there are so many positives than just saying, well, let's just kind of keep this here as is. So those are just my thoughts. I'd really encourage the commission to take a look at the materials closely. We understand you're not going to close the meeting tonight, so.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Jen Smith, do you want to add anything to what was said before we move to members?
I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. Let's see. Usually try to start out more with folks that have done some of these before. Eric, you want to start on this one this evening?
Sure thing, Frank. So, yeah, there is a lot here on this project. I guess I'll just dive right in. This is a structure that is being proposed that is over 1,000 feet in square footage, and it is an accessory dwelling. As it is an accessory dwelling, per 310 CMR 10.28, projects accessory to existing buildings do not include the construction of an additional dwelling, which this is. Never mind the disturbance of the vegetation in order to construct this proposed project is also, there is no regulatory standard for dune vegetation alteration, replication, and restoration as there is for a BVW. And that's because this is a coastal dune resource. And under 310 10.28, it does say under B, disturbing the vegetative cover as to destabilize the dune, this does have the potential to do that. So I do have concerns about that. Let's see. The orders of condition for another building at another site, unfortunately, is not applicable here. We are not precedent-setting boards, and it's a completely unique site. And I don't believe it has any bearing on this project. Let's see. There was no change in the plan from what we heard last fall as it relates to the actual building itself, which is unfortunate. I was hoping that when we saw this, there would be some sort of alteration to the proposal. As previously mentioned, it is good that we're moving away from a cesspool to a Title V compliant septic system. However, the existing house still remains, and to the point of it's better that that remains and not be, complete redevelopment of this site. That would have to assume that that redevelopment that is this theoretical argument would be FEMA compliant, which the existing building presumably is not. I also question the planting plan that is being proposed in terms of disturbing existing dune vegetation that currently exists on the paper self. There's a swath of vegetation that is paper self of the accessory dwelling that's being proposed. I believe it's brown. I'm not entirely sure. I'm partially colorblind, so I apologize. So that area there is already native vegetation, presumably, and we're adding more there. I'm not entirely sure why we're disturbing existing dune vegetation. And as it relates to the driveway and the proposed plantings there, I just, look at that as a potential issue in terms of being able to maintain that with cars driving through. I believe on the previous plan that we saw last year, there was at least 5 cars that were graphically depicted for parking on this site. So I do have concerns about that. Never mind the fact that during storm events, it is very clear that there is significant overwash on this site, and it is functioning as a dune as it relates to sediment transport. The vegetation is obviously an important factor here that is existing, and having any disturbance to that vegetation, would be unacceptable. That's all I have for the moment, but I don't guarantee that's all I have.
Okay. Let's see. Brendan?
I actually, you know what, I just really would second pretty much everything Eric said as my concerns.
All right. Jen Foley?
I'm gonna second Brendan's second of Eric.
Penny?
I see where this is going. Eric's a pretty comprehensive guy, so.
I do like the septic. I think that's wonderful. That's my only good comment. I'm sorry. Moving.
Okay. Roger?
Yeah, I don't have any additional comments or questions.
Okay. Robbie?
Nothing more from me.
Does any of the applicant want to comment on anything here before we go to, I don't know if there's anybody in the audience on this.
I just want to ask a question of Eric quickly. Eric, one of your very first comments was about maybe language in 1028 about a dwelling. Would you just elaborate? I just want to, once we move on from this meeting, I want to take a look at that.
Yeah, absolutely. It was from comments from Mass DEP, Gregory DeSarcy. he referenced that 310 CMR 10.284 is what was in reference to the addition of a dwelling is not included in that.
Yeah, so
But
I just wanted to, I thought that I had kind of addressed this in my letter. So 310 CMR 1028-4 is the regulation that is after 310 CMR 1028-3. 3, as I said, allows you to issue an order for any new structure, dwelling or no dwelling, provided no adverse impact. 4 says nothing about dwellings. And instead, what it says is that what accessory projects may include, but are not limited to. And what
right, but Jeff, when it it's
I just want to point that out because a dwelling is not listed in there. That's true, but it's not as if a dwelling is prohibited. Like what is called out, what is prohibited are coastal structures. That's what's prohibited. But I recognize your point, Eric. I just wanted to clarify the
Mhm.
wording. The wording could be better phrased, but it doesn't say you can't have a dwelling use. It just says such accessory projects may include but are not limited to. And then it says are not to include coastal engineering structures. That's
understood, but
all. Yep.
it also does say sheds and parking areas. So if you were
Yes.
to interpret that as the intent, it would be small accessory buildings, and this is not that. I think that's
That's
my point when it comes to I hear you when it says but is
fair.
not limited to. I read what you're saying there, but I feel like the intent of but is not limited to does not want it to be interpreted as something of a large scale. Like a shed is a shed and it is of a small scale. I would say that anything that you're living in is not a shed.
28 by
I
38.
that's fair enough. I didn't want it to be represented that dwellings are prohibited. That's all.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah, I was just reading off of the DEP comment sheet. That's all. So
yep.
thank you for the clarification on that, Jeff.
Yep.
Um, I got a few questions. Maybe we can, so we have a little more clarity here. And I'm looking at the existing plan and then the proposed. I see the septic system. Right now, I see sort of a drive that comes in and then there's a gate. And so the people come in and they open that gate and then the cars park in the area that now says sand.
Yeah, so this isn't obviously a commercial parking lot, so there's no striped spaces or anything to that nature. The best the best way that you could see what they do now is to look at an aerial. And in Stan's first letter, so not land planning, excuse me, ECR submitted a letter dated August 13th. And when you scroll down to the sixth overall sheet, you'll see how the site is utilized vis-a-vis vehicles.
Okay.
Um, and essentially, it comes in, goes as straight, it's a straight shot along the side yard all the way up to basically that small shed way in the rear right.
Yep.
And then
Okay.
it loops around to almost the side of the primary, like not side, but to be aligned with the exterior wall of the primary.
So essentially, the cars are going to come in and park similar to where they have before.
Yes.
Okay.
On top of the leaching field.
Which is okay
Yeah, I know.
if it's designed that
Yeah.
way. Okay. Um, and I'm just looking at some different pieces. Obviously,
And Frank, while you're looking, just I'm aware that the commission recently had a discussion about a property out near Edward Foster Road, maybe at the corner somewhere.
Hmm.
And that I was looking at that. That was a vacant lot. And here we have a completely different circumstance where there are two buildings that are non-compliant and with a cesspool and a totally scoured site and completely disturbed site. So I just wanted to mention that because I'm sure the board would think about that as a recent experience that they have with a similar type of project. And I just think that it's different. But I'm sorry to
Okay. No,
interrupt.
no, that's fine. I'm just going to run through some trains of thought. Again, we're going to probably continue this, and we have a few other hearings this evening. But
Sure. Yep.
just want to. So, you look at the site, and there's, it's a typical site that over the years, different things have been added. Some people say it's degraded, other people say it's my home. Um, but the applicant is looking to remove a number of those things and replace them with one structure, but a larger structure, and then it's an additional living structure. Um, but it is an ADU, and it's a piece that has been um, encouraged by the state to look at additional housing and affordable housing. And the different boards have looked at this in different ways. The sewer department's figured out a fee for hooking up to sewer if it's available. Water department, the planning board is looking at different aspects of it. I think the zoning board is looking at maybe waivers for setbacks and things like that. As a commission, I don't think we've addressed these ADUs. Um, we haven't given any relief to setbacks from wetlands or anything. A 40B would get that accommodation. And I'm not saying we should. I'm just saying that these are a fairly new component that we're going to be seeing more of. And I would like to get some more information if they're going to be proposed in areas like this, a Barrier Beach or Dune or whatever. Um, and how do we address those? And is there a certain size that we think is more applicable, or if it was attached to the existing building? We know that we would, if these folks came in and said, look, we want to elevate our home, our existing home, and we want to expand it, we would certainly consider that, right?
Yeah.
But in this case, the house is sitting as it is, and now they'd like to have a new structure in back of it. So I get the.
So, Frank, just to jump on that, when this applicant was before the board in the year 2024, the Affordable Homes Act, which mandates these types of things and requires towns to loosen restrictions to allow it,
Mhm.
was adopted, but the regulations to enforce and implement that law had not yet been adopted. So at the time that Mass DEP issued its comments to the filing, the comments predated the regulation, and I'm wondering, to your point, and I don't know the answer, whether Greg DeCisa might have a different viewpoint on this now, given where the state law is at. And I think it does make sense to follow up with him. I'm more than happy to do that, but I don't want to
Well, I think
step
I
out of my
think it's
lane, so to speak.
there's a lot here to consider, Jeff, and I'm not really excited about a brand new structure on a site that an existing structure that's non-compliant remains. I get your argument with some of this. I'm also looking at like a long concrete wall that we would not
Yeah.
condition today um, against the street. There's a long.
Yeah.
So
And the state does have a definition of accessory dwelling, and it is tied into the size.
right.
So the definition I want to say is like the lesser of 900 square feet or one half of the gross floor area of the principal dwelling. And that's what it defines as accessory. Um,
So I did the math, and I think this is a little over 1,000
well,
fifty.
well, the gross floor area is the heated space. So you're looking at there's some decking around it on the site plan.
Okay.
Yeah. But I was kind of understanding that I would get comments. Eric's comments are pretty good. I was kind of hoping that you would check with Mass DEP. I don't want to prolong this meeting. You have a long agenda. I certainly would be asking for a continuance. But I kind of feel like we need to understand that one question that you just hit on, Frank, before we could decide, especially given Eric's comments and the comments that have been validated by the remainder of the commission, um, like how the applicant wants to proceed. So,
How far out do you want to go? To it seems like we have a little sorting out to do.
yeah, I think certainly 2 weeks is too short.
Yeah.
And maybe 6 weeks is too long. So,
What do
um,
we have, Josh or Jen?
We've got October 20th and then Wednesday, November 5th. And then, of course, Wednesday, November 17th.
I'd recommend moving it out into November, but that's just me.
that's fine.
Does this site, I mean, would anybody benefit from a site visit on this one?
It's always good to have eyes, but
I don't know. I'm just asking. We don't have Richard in Hammerock anymore.
If I could make it line up, I'd be interested.
Okay. Well, let's why don't we get a continuance so we can keep moving? Let's maybe have
November 6th.
possibility of a site visit, maybe.
Wednesday, the 5th.
The 5th?
Yeah, after town meeting.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Wednesday. Good.
So I'll make a motion. Yes, no.
Jeff,
maybe.
does that work?
That works. That works for me.
Okay.
And I'll reach out about this question with Mass DEP's position on that issue.
Okay. So I make a motion, we continue 30 Marshfield Ave to November 5th.
Okay, that's
a Wednesday.
Motion from Penny. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
From Brendan. All in favor? Did you say Jen Foley's off? Or is she?
No, I'm here.
Okay. Jen?
Yep.
We got
Eric?
another half hour.
Yes.
Roger?
Yes.
Robbie?
Yes.
And Frank, yes. Great. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Let's
Have
see.
a good evening.
Thanks. Good to hear from you, Stan. Number 6, Damon Road. I got to open this one, I think.
Yes. Raise, rebuild.
On September 22nd, 2025, 6 p.m., Scituate Conservation Commission will hold a wetlands hearing under Chapter 131, Section 40, Massachusetts General Laws, and Section 30700, Town of Scituate Code of Bylaws, for a notice of intent filed by Ross and Molly James for the demolition and reconstruction of a single-family dwelling within the buffer to a coastal resource located at 6 Damon Road, Scituate. Abutters and other interested parties are invited to attend. Information to access the meeting is available on the agenda posted on the website.
And we have Greg Morse here to present.
Okay. Good evening, Greg.
Good evening. For the record, Gregory Morse, registered engineer, Morse Engineering, representing the property owner and applicant, Ross and Molly James. This is a notice of intent for the raise and rebuild of a single-family home at 6 Damon Road. Familiarizing you with the plan here, Damon Road is at the bottom of the page. The property is perfect square, represented by the dark black line. It's 10,000 square feet in size. It's entirely upland land area. The exception being that this is located in the FEMA floodplain. This is located in the zone AE, which is designated at elevation 15. For reference, the property here, the contours on the ground exist at elevation 12 and elevation 13 at the highest point. The proposal here is to demolish the existing home. The existing home was actually demolished last week or the week prior. There's also a swimming pool and extensive landscape at the site, which was demolished and removed as well. The proposal is to construct a new home. You see the location of the new home shaded here. There's a proposed pervious patio to be constructed off the back of the house. And then the areas in green would be restored with landscaping, lawn surfaces, and tree plantings that we've specified. There's an existing asphalt driveway off of Damon Road that would remain or be repaved up to the front of the new garage on the house. Overall, it's a reduction in impervious land surface with the removal of the existing home and the removal of the existing pool and surrounding patio to it. DEP had no comments. Included in our notice of intent was the proposed FEMA elevation certificate and structural drawings for the foundation. Where this is in an AE 15 flood zone, we've proposed the first floor at elevation 17.1, which provides 2.1 feet of freeboard for the first floor habitable space. The foundation itself is a poured concrete foundation with flood vents on all sides, compliant with FEMA's requirements. I'm going to turn it over to you for questions or comments.
Thank you, Greg. Jen Smith.
Yes, I don't have any questions. I agree, there's no comments from DEP. Thank you for the plan. It's easy to see what's hardscape, what's landscape, and for including plantings with the proposal. So I don't have any other questions or comments for this property.
Thank you. Brendan?
Yeah. I guess the first thing that comes to mind for me, recently at least, is in regard to the pervious pavers. Are the pavers themselves actually pervious, or is it just the space? And I guess this comes to the question, if it's just the space, is that really a pervious paver? Have we answered that question before?
I think there's been a process of trying to get to maybe Greg should.
It's the space in between the pavers.
Yeah. Look at the top corner of the plan if it can zoom in on that one. But Greg, why don't you comment on the pavers?
Yeah. So these are designated as a pervious paver as long as they're constructed in accordance with the specification at the top right of the plan here. It's 1/4-inch spacing with a non-polymetric sand in between them, and it's underlain by 7 inches of crushed stone underneath it.
Yeah.
So it's designated as a pervious paver by whom, may I ask?
So the DEP standard is to provide a minimum of a 1/4-inch spacing on a pervious paver, and then to provide the stone reservoir underneath it, which we did. The actual paver itself, is solid. It doesn't let water through, but it's the spacing in between them that does. It's a dry laid paver. There's no concrete. There's no stone dust in between them.
Okay, I guess I'll have to stop asking.
No, it's good it's good to be persistent on that to make sure that they're constructed correctly, because someone could just say, well, it's pavers and they don't really function as such. But if they're installed correctly with the stone underneath, in 50 years, if there's moss between them, Brendan, you and I aren't going to know it. Or at least I won't.
I want to see
I don't think I will either. Yeah, I guess that was my one thing that I was kind of focused on. So
okay, all right. Did Jen Foley, is she with us, or did she have to jump?
I'm here.
Oh, good. You're on.
Well, Craig's comment about it being a perfect square absolutely caught my attention. So I really looked at it. And I do share Brendan's, well, I guess I don't know if I share his concern, but I do think there is a question in my mind about if you cover everything in pervious, is it really pervious? And whether or not how that math actually should work.
Oh my
Uh,
God, it's gone away.
but I think in this case, I'm okay. My question is probably more to the broader use of pervious pavers.
Okay. Roger?
Just more of a question, and maybe I missed it. Is my understanding there is a swimming pool there right now?
There's an existing swimming pool on the left-hand side of the property, kind of the left corner, back corner.
Yeah.
So there's a
It,
pool with a concrete apron around it. There's also two sheds, one at the back left corner and one at the back right corner. Those are all to be removed in
oh,
addition to
they're
the
going to be
existing
removed.
home.
Okay, they'll
Correct.
be removed. And what are you gonna replace or fill the pool opening with?
Sure. So that the pool opening gets, just general fill to bring it up to grade, and then some of the area gets restored with lawn surface. Some of the area gets restored with the pervious paver patio.
So some of the where the pool is, it'll be that patio detail that we just went through with the stones at the different levels underneath it. So, nope, thank you. That was just a question for clarification. Thank you.
Robbie?
Yeah, I had one question. Just maybe you could explain a little bit more the nature of the walkways around the house there. I see that they are pervious pavers. They just, is there a function that I'm not seeing?
Sure. So there's from the front driveway, there's a walkway to the front door, to the front porch of the house.
Mhm.
That walkway extends around the side into the patio at the back of the property. There's also a walkway from the front door of the house just simply out to the street, straight in line with the front door. That's the purpose of those, just to provide access around the side and to the back.
Okay, thank you.
Eric?
I am all set. Thank you.
Penny, did you have to go last?
I'm going last, but I'm going back to that walkway. I see absolutely no reason why that walkway has to be pavers. Why can't it be flagstone? I mean, you got so much hard surface out there.
It's a reduction of 700 square feet of impervious.
Well, I just think you should do flagstone or something, not all that cobble. That's my only comment, Frank.
Okay.
I don't like it.
Do we have anybody in the audience for this?
I do not see any hands raised.
Okay. So I guess when we look at a site like this and we take a look at all that was put on this before, probably in pieces over time, this site was considerably covered with impervious areas. The applicant has reduced the amount of impervious area, and you may not be thrilled with this patio or something, but they're not talking about running an asphalt walk or something around there. It's all compliant, and we don't know how people use their home. It's not a wetland around it. It's in a flood area. I I would have to say that they've exceeded what they would have to do here. We've seen people push it in the other direction. I would think that this would be a reasonable approach. That's all.
Okay, are we ready?
I'm all set. Anybody else?
Jen, close an issue?
Yes, you can close an issue. It's generally our standard orders.
Yeah,
they got a fence going around it. They got everything on here that
yeah.
I think we're looking for.
Okay, I make a motion, we close an issue on 6 Damon Road.
Um, who's got a second?
I'll second that.
From Eric. All in favor, Jen,
Yep.
Brendan,
Yes.
Roger,
Oh, hard.
Yes.
Robbie,
Yes.
and Frank, yes. Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
0 Bossy Lane. September 22nd, 2025, the Scituate Conservation Commission will hold a wetlands hearing under Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Massachusetts General Laws and Section 30700, Town of Scituate Code of Bylaws for notice of intent filed by Emily Bauer for the construction of a single-family dwelling within a wetland resource located at 0 Bossy Lane. Scituate abutters and other interested parties are invited to attend. Information to access the meeting is available on their website. So is this Mr. Morse again?
Yes.
Oh.
For the record, Gregory Morse, registered engineer, Morse Engineering. We had requested a notice of intent here for construction of a single-family home at 0 Bossy Lane. This is a 36,308 square foot undeveloped lot. The proposal would be to construct a 32 by 32 single-family home, a 2-bedroom home with access off of Bossy Lane. The wetlands here are highlighted in blue, consisting of a bordering vegetated wetland hung by Brad Holmes on May 26, 2025. When we submitted the notice of intent, the commission requested a peer review to be conducted. I don't believe that we have gotten the results of the peer review yet. So I think I'd like to request a continuance until we get those peer review comments on this project. Am I correct, Jen? Smith, that we have
Yes,
not
correct.
gotten any
Yep.
letters yet?
Yeah, site visit was last Friday. I have not received a comment letter yet.
Then can I request a continuance to the next available hearing date so we can get peer review comments on this?
Yes. So the October 20th.
Okay,
Okay.
All right.
so I'll make a motion.
That'd be great.
I make a motion to continue 0 Bossy Lane to did you say October 20th, Jen?
Yes.
October 20th.
Okay, that's a motion from Penny to a second.
I'll second that.
I'll second.
Brendan got you. All in favor, Jen, Foley,
Yes.
and Eric,
Yes.
Roger,
Yes.
and Robbie.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks, Greg.
Yep.
50 Oceanside. Sorry, I got to get a plan out of the way. Yes. On September 22nd, 2025, 6 p.m., the Scituate Conservation Commission will hold a wetlands hearing under Chapter 131, Section 40 of Massachusetts General Laws and Section 30700, Town of Scituate Code of Bylaws for notice of intent filed by Ed Johnson for the reconstruction of a single-family dwelling within coastal resources located at 50 Oceanside Drive, Scituate. Abutters and other interested parties are invited to attend. Information to access the meeting is available on the website.
Thank you. Again, for the record, Gregory Morse, registered engineer representing K&E Construction. This is a notice of intent for the raise and rebuild of a single-family home at 50 Oceanside Drive. The existing home that was at 50 Oceanside Drive was actually destroyed by fire on September 24th, 2024. It was destroyed in its entirety and has been removed from the site. The lot itself is 5,640 square feet in size. Oceanside Drive is at the bottom of the page here. The Atlantic Ocean is at the top of the page. There's an existing seawall that traverses the site, separating the developed portion from the beach. This is not an area that's mapped as barrier beach, but it is entirely within the FEMA flood zone. There's a FEMA AE zone along Oceanside Drive extending to the back of the site, which transitions into a velocity zone at elevation 18. The proposal here is to construct the new home. You can see the footprint of the new home. It's generally the same size and same location as the home that was there. It is pulled back slightly from the top of the seawall. There is a deck on the first floor and a second story deck overhanging over the back where there was existing patio essentially on the former home. The proposed home is constructed in accordance with all FEMA requirements. The lowest horizontal structural member is at elevation 24. Again, the velocity zone is at elevation 18, so there's significant freeboard. In the first floor elevation is at elevation 26.3. We provided the structurals in the notice of intent application as well as the proposed FEMA certificate. The driveway surface here would be gravel. You can see the location of the gravel underneath the house. And then on the back of the house, that would just remain as sand and cobble. The piers here are concrete piers. They're not timber-driven piles because it's not a barrier beach, but they're poured concrete. The structural plans submitted document those locations and elevations. I'm going to turn it over to you for questions or comments.
Okay, thank you. Jen?
Yes, so no DEP comments. Great that the house is more or less, the same footprint, almost entirely out of the velocity zone and, they're not proposing to put the patio back in that was up by the seawall. The deck is away from the seawall as well. And for the most part, the driveway is no longer asphalt. So all of that is great to have on the site. I think my only comment is the coastal resource being dune for the project site, but otherwise, I think it's a good project.
Okay. Where do we go with this? Penny?
I think it's a great project. I like everything. It looks very good. Thank you.
Okay. Jen Foley?
Yeah, I have nothing to say.
Okay. Brendan?
I'm good. Thank you.
Eric?
Yeah, I think generally this is a vast improvement over the previous structure that was on this site. I do have a question as it relates to the dune, and maybe this is also just in regards to the structure itself. Is there skirting around the base of the house where the piles are? If so, is there a reveal of any kind to allow sediment transport, given that Jen just mentioned that this is a dune?
Sure. On this proposal, no, there is no skirting below the first floor in this house.
I have nothing else to add. Thank you.
Okay. Roger?
No comments or questions. Thank you.
Robbie?
Nothing from me.
Okay. Do we have anybody in the audience on this one?
Oh.
Okay.
Good.
Was there erosion control on this one, Greg?
We weren't showing any erosion controls. We could certainly add something along the seawall.
I should know what's there now, but is that site all earth?
It is. It's all cobble and sand.
I'm just looking at the aerial photo. It looks like the house on the left is like totally concrete.
Pretty much. But yeah, this site as it exists today is all cobble and sand. Um, our site, the existing foundation that was there was a concrete foundation that was removed after the fire. And there was some concrete patio that was all removed as well.
And what's going to go back in those spots on the ground, Greg?
Sure. So on the ground, I actually want to note the plan that's on the Zoom that's presented on the plan here right now. This isn't the most current plan. There was a plan that had a revision date, I think, of September 16th. Um,
Okay.
a second September 16th filing. Um, and what it called out for on the back of the property was just sand and cobble. Okay, so aside from the deck, it's just sand and cobble on the back. There's no proposed patio on the ground level. On the front of the property, we called out that the existing asphalt driveway that was there, we were going to cut portions of it off. We were going to leave it just a paved apron off the street, but we were going to remove a portion of the existing asphalt driveway and then replace underneath the house with gravel drive so that you could drive under the house to essentially the middle row of pilings um, and park a car under the house. But there's no concrete, there's no patio proposed with this proposal. It's all gravel, essentially.
Wonderful.
Okay. I think that's it for me.
Could I just make a quick comment before I make my motion?
Sure.
It's to Jen, actually. Could we put in the orders that if they did decide later to put skirting on it, had to have a 2-foot leeway underneath? Can we do that?
I thought we were doing no skirting, so if they want to change it, they
Well,
can
that's
come back with
fine
whatever
by
their
me,
plan
but
is.
Why don't you just have if they were to do anything there, they should any
all right, come
change
back
like
in.
that should be back in front of the commission.
Even skirting, I just don't want to go out there and find it, after the house is built down to the ground.
Right.
That's my fear. Okay, so I'll make a motion to close an issue, Jen.
Yeah, yes.
I make a motion to close an issue, 50 Oceanside Drive.
That was Penny. We have a second.
I'll second that.
It's from Brendan. All in
Thank
favor,
you,
Jen
Brendan.
Foley?
Oh.
All in
Yep.
favor, Jen? Yes.
Mhm.
Eric,
Yes.
Roger,
Yes.
Robbie,
Yes.
Frank, yes. Great. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you.
On September 20. Oh, yeah. No, first we got to do Union Street. Sorry.
Yeah.
I think that's a continuation, right?
Not Union.
Yes, we opened
it
it but
is?
didn't discuss it because we were waiting. We were, doing a whole review.
So,
Who's
Greg, this is you, right?
Yes, it is. Yep.
Go ahead.
So Greg Morse, registered engineer on behalf of the applicant. This was opened at the last hearing. This is an ANRAD application. We had asked the commission to review the bordering vegetated wetlands on the site. We also asked the commission to make a determination that there's no riverfront area at the site. The commission had hired Lucas Environmental to do a site visit. Lucas Environmental went out and did that site visit and issued their first comment letter. As a result of that, we submitted a response and we submitted a revised plan to address the comments that Lucas had. Lucas submitted a revised comment letter just today. I believe we've satisfied all of their comments so that the commission can sign off on the bordering vegetated wetlands as we requested and make a determination that there's no riverfront area at the site. There certainly is an intermittent stream within the bordering vegetated wetlands. That intermittent stream is a tributary. We note that on the plans, but it is not a perennial river. It goes dry. This year, we're in a drought status right now, but as Lucas points out in their review letter, the USGS map calls it an intermittent stream. Lucas did an environmental stream stats analysis and determined that it is an intermittent stream. We just wanted to make sure that that's documented in the ANRAD that there is no riverfront at this site. So I believe we're ready to close. There was only one flag that changed on the bordering vegetated wetlands. It was on the B side of the wetlands here, which is on the north side of that intermittent stream. It was not on the locust side of the site. I can get into any specific details or responses you want, but I think you're ready to close at this point.
Okay, thank you. Jen?
I don't have anything else to add.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see, Eric?
No, I have nothing as it relates to what is within our purview as presented for the ANRAD.
Okay. Brendan?
I have no questions or comments.
Okay. Roger?
No questions. Thank you.
Robbie?
Nothing for me.
Okay. Penny?
I'm all set. Thank you. Looks good.
Jen Foley, did I ask you?
Nope. Yeah, I'm all set.
Okay. Do we have anybody in the audience for this?
I don't see any hands raised.
Okay. And can you just give me this one thing again with regard to the stream? I just want to be sure that you're in concurrence. Is that correct?
We are. So it's an intermittent stream.
Mm-hmm.
What we asked for with our ANRAD filing was a determination that there's no riverfront area on the site. Riverfront would be from a perennial river.
Right.
So we've classified it as intermittent, and Lucas concurs that it's intermittent.
Okay.
So there is no riverfront.
And I know that you can't do much with offsite wetlands, Greg, but was there anything that was on the plan, like further up the railroad bed or anything like that? Do you remember?
So we did look at offsite, and we had hung some flags on the property to the north, the Anderson Incorporated property. Lucas had us remove those flags. We're showing the location of that wetland and the location of where that intermittent stream goes, because we did survey locate that, but we physically took those flags off the plan because it's not the applicant's property.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. That's it for me. Anybody want to make a motion?
I make a motion to close.
That's Penny. A second from Eric. All in favor, Jen?
Yep.
Brendan?
Yes.
Roger?
Yes.
Robbie?
Yes.
And Frank, yes. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Greg. Close and issue on an ANRAD? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Do we issue?
I think we're good.
Accepted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I'm going to open 21 Central, but then the applicant's requesting a continuance. Is that right?
Correct. With no discussion. Yep.
Okay. So on September 22nd, 6 p.m., the Scituate Conservation Commission will hold a wetlands hearing under Chapter 131, Section 40, Massachusetts General Laws, and Section 30700, Town of Scituate Code of Bylaws, regarding the notice of intent application of South River Marina for the construction of 10 housing units associated apprentices, whatever they are, a boathouse located at 21 Central Ave and 7 Marshfield Ave, Scituate, abutters and other interested parties are invited to attend. Virtual meeting will be available on the agenda posted on the website. So what do they want to continue this to, Jen? Did they say?
Yes, to October 6th.
Okay.
I make a motion, we continue 21 Central Ave, 7 Marshfield till October 6th.
That's Penny. No second.
I'll second that.
Brendan. All in favor. Jen. Foley. She might have been. It's after 8.
She ran. It's after
Eric.
8.
Eric.
Yes.
Roger.
Yes.
Robbie.
Yes.
Thank you. And Frank. Yep. Okay. 30 Marshfield Ave.
We
Oh,
already did that one.
Oh, it was a mistake. 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do we have? We could wrap this up fairly quickly.
we do have minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, minutes. Yes.
I make a motion that we accept the
Penny,
minutes.
just one moment.
Yeah.
Josh, did you change that one bit regarding 107?
Yep, I corrected it.
Excellent. Okay,
There
Penny,
was
sorry.
just for the record, there was an error in the vote that I originally had, but I've corrected it to the
On
correct vote.
107? Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks.
Okay. I make a motion, we accept the minutes, corrected minutes of September 8th as written at the moment.
I'll second that.
Eric, all in favor. Brendan.
Yes.
Roger.
Yes.
Robbie.
Yes.
And Frank, yes. Good. Thank you.
Okay.
What else do we have?
Certificate of compliance, Jen?
Yes, 18 Marshfield. It was a septic project.
Okay, so they're all set.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Can I have 2 seconds, Frank?
All right, 1, 2. Yep,
1,
you're all
2.
done.
Oh, you wise thing. Okay, I just wanted to float this past the rest of the board. Up at Mordecai Lincoln, great progress is being made in the open space area, and it's absolutely gorgeous. You really should get up there and see it. But we have a lady who would like to donate in memory of her mother, who absolutely loved that area and loved the marsh, who has passed away. What she'd like to donate, and you know, when you go to an other national parks and they have the viewing machine where you put your face to the big round silver and you can see far off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
The binoculars.
Well, it's like binoculars. Well, she's not. Anyway, she would like to purchase and have installed out there on the trail, the wooded trail, I would say. So you can look across the marsh, you can really look into the nests of some of the birds and so forth and so on. I said I would have to check with Concom because we've never been asked for something like that. She would be paying for it in full.
Huh. That's interesting.
So Penny,
Yeah.
just quick 2 questions. One, is it going to be coin op?
No,
Or is it free?
it's a freebie, honey.
And then the second thing, we're going to make sure that it's not going to be pointed towards any residential properties, correct?
Well,
Like, how do we ensure that we're not going to look into anyone's house?
Well, you know what? That would be an adjustment. I would imagine would be wanting to look straight over. Well, we'd have to, adjustment.
Yeah, just something worth thinking about.
Yeah, no, I didn't even think of, because I'm just thinking of the ospreys and stuff like that. I'd love to see in their nest when the babies are there. But it is something to think about. But I wanted to get everybody's feedback if you thought it was a good idea or not. And then I was going to take her out there and show us some spots that I thought might be appropriate.
Anybody else want to comment?
I think it's an interesting suggestion. There's, I guess, Eric's comment about where it's pointed. I could see some people in the community raising some concerns about that. And the other thing is the only thing I can picture, those things where you put the quarter in and it clicks. I'm like, what is it just going to be like a pair of binoculars, or is it she going old school and going to put one of those old silver things up?
You know what? I haven't talked to her. This was just presented to me today by the Mordecai Lincoln, the chair. And I said, I'll have to float it by our committee on something like this because we've never done this. I will find out the details. I'm just trying to get a feel. Should I pursue this with this woman? Yes, or tell her not a good idea.
So I guess that's the question. I have a
Yeah.
question, and
No,
maybe the group
I
the
hear ya.
group could no. I actually, you just brought up something that I have a question on. Is something like this something that we should be or can weigh in on? Didn't you say there's a Mordecai commission? This is if so,
yeah. Keep
that's my
going.
question. Yeah, well, I
Okay.
guess the question is this like a committee, a group, an association that has the right to do this, and do we have the right to yay or nay it, or is this conservation lands where, as the members, we need to be kind of overseeing it? I guess is my question.
Okay, I can answer it very quickly for you. When this land was purchased, it was purchased by CPC under the historic and open space. Okay, historic is to the, I guess you'd say, the north part of the property. You have three buildings from the stone wall. No, the stone wall north. That is all open space that's under the care and custody of the Conservation Commission. So we do have a say of what we do or don't put out there.
So the short answer to that is that this part
Yes.
is under our jurisdiction.
Yes, it's
Okay.
under our jurisdiction, and the chair called to ask me, would I be interested in it? And I said, let me float it by the rest of my commission, because this is something different than the other decisions I've kind of made on my own, like with the path, the field, and so forth.
Penny and the rest of the commission, just a thought here.
Yeah.
This is something that's fairly different than what we've had, and we've had people come to us, asking if they could do a bench or maybe they could help with a bridge or some other type of improvement that we thought was a good improvement for that. I personally am a little skeptical of this one. To me, it seems like it would be something that's a little more commercial or maybe even subject to vandalism that we could wind up with something that we're going to have to deal with a little bit more. And this is my opinion. Personally, I would go back to that person and say we really appreciate their enthusiasm, but why don't you think about some improvements that you'd like to make? I know you've been trying to get various things done up there, and that you've had to go for funds to do some of that. And maybe you could come up with a couple of ideas that would enhance that property. That would be my suggestion.
Yeah, no, that's.
I don't know. Anybody else want to jump in on that one? It's fine. But
I mean, I don't have any problem with something that could potentially bring people closer to conservation and somehow and more engaged with it. I think that, the person donating it or the commission should, also assume care and custody of it, I would say, or maintenance and care kind of thing, to ensure that if it is damaged somehow, that it could be restored.
But then we get into something, do we want to get into that? If somebody breaks my husband's bench up there or takes a chainsaw to it, I'm going to replace it. you know, I don't expect Concom to replace it for me.
Well, I just think, there's a number of things we need to do there.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds nice, or I
Well,
guess
it's interesting.
we've never had that approach before. There've been,
Yeah.
like I said, there've been benches and different things that folks have liked to do and help. If I were you, I'd just maybe give some thought to what we really do need there
Well,
first.
also, I think what's been described is kind of maybe not necessarily what would be the end product, right? We're picturing that, amusement
Right.
operated thing that you have to stand on to use when it might be something considerably different than that.
Yeah, well, I want to see what she's talking about. But of course, this brings me back. Eric, I know, has been up there, and Jen, but I really wish the rest of you would just take a 15 minutes and go up there and see what's up there. And if you have suggestions, because they've all been my ideas or Susan Harrison's. And if anybody has any more suggestions, of what I can do up there, because it is a very, very unique property.
Okay. All right.
But I will get some more info on it, at least, Frank. And of course, she can always put a bench in too. Like, we
Right.
still have room for benches.
The town actually has a process for doing some memorializing type things.
Oh, I know that. I know
So
that.
a tree,
Yeah.
some other sort of things might be more natural. Give it some thought.
Well, let me give it some thought. I don't want to just go and say no. I would like to see exactly what she's talking about, because maybe it is something simple
When I
and
get a
not
little
the big metal, circle. I don't know.
Okay.
It was just
What
thrown
else?
at me this
It's
afternoon.
8:15. What else do we got?
Yeah. That's it for me.
Jen?
I think we're going to try to get everybody together for a workshop.
Yes.
I've got a couple dates I've sent out there, but I haven't done anything else with that. So I'll keep working on it.
Did you get any feedback? Because that was going to be the one thing that I was going to try to bring up tonight is I personally think it would be beneficial for all of us, or as many of us as possible, to get together in an informal type meeting, to just get to meet each other. Again, or some of us haven't really formally done that. And then B, just to have some sort of discussions about projects and feelings and what would be more beneficial to members when we come to meetings in terms of information, that sort of thing. I think it would be a real benefit. I know everybody's time is stretched, but I think Jen did send out a couple of meeting times, and if anybody could respond on that, it would be really they've been really helpful when we do it. That's it for me.
On that, Frank, I did mention to Jen, if we could try and shoot for a non-Tuesday night, just because I'm
all right,
sort of held captive at town hall until 7:30, as it were.
Okay. Yeah,
because I really would like to be there. I think it is valuable for all of us as a complete group to meet. So that would be my only request.
And there's a couple of town buildings that we can set this up in. I found it easy to use them on Hope Building. I've got access to it. If it's
We always have the stone building behind my house too.
That's another option. So we'll pick a night and we'll pick a spot and do it.
Eric.
All right.
Yes, Penny.
Eric, just one quick thing. The milkweed has flown.
Nice. Congratulations. Good work on that collection and distribution. That's awesome.
Yeah. It was fun.
Anybody else have anything for this evening?
I guess the one question I have is that letter that was sent out. I think Josh sent. I don't know if that's part of that enforcement items that we need to talk about, or what's the plan on going through those items and in that response.
Was that the one for Rebecca?
I believe it was.
I'm lost.
Yes, I remember I remember it now. Yeah. So to put in context what Roger's talking about, we received in correspondence today a letter from an abutter, and I share those with the commission so everybody has it in mind for the next time we talk about the project. And in this case, that was for I don't want to say it since we're not in a meeting, but for a
Okay.
project we're all working with.
I didn't know if that was part of the enforcement items that we were.
No, that's
No.
kind of a placeholder put there by Jen in case we did want to discuss any enforcement items. But no, it's a very valid question. It took me a second to remember because that was this morning, which was 7 years ago.
Oh, that was my connecting the dots. I saw the
Yeah.
email, I read it, I see it on the agenda, and I was trying to get myself
No,
there.
I'm glad you're reading my little pokes I send out. I know I send out a bunch.
Okay. But those are the kind of things that would be helpful in a workshop meeting to just make some clarity on that. Okay.
Okay, I make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, we'll take a second.
I'll second.
That's Eric. All in favor?
Go home.
Brendan?
Yes.
Roger? That was very exuberant.
Yes.
Robbie?
Yes.
I like it. All right. Yes. Have a nice
We're all
evening.
tired.
Thanks,
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you very
Good
much.
night, everybody.
Good.